Wait. Oh, is that the first thing that comes out? Oh, I thought this was... Okay, never mind, guys. Never mind. Yeah, it was the first thing, huh? DTS is scuffed? Is it, Jade? You're scuffed. So this is the patch notes, guys. I did look over it a few hours ago. Just kind of was trying to piece together where I think the meta is heading and all these other cute things. But before we cover all that, I want to just quickly go through patch 2.5, kind of a rough overview or like a mini overview of what we're going to be seeing. So yeah, dude, if you guys can see, this was probably why it was like hugely going to get like nerfed, as well as this Fiora Shen. Like this is why they got hard wrecked in this patch, guys. 56% on the highest tier, as well as we've got 54 this is like the second highest, I think, right? 54. So you can see all the highest percentages for win rates have basically been nerfed. And then that's probably means that the ones that are second coming, right? Like you can see Overwhelm actually is like around this threshold of 54%. This deck didn't get touched, so this is actually might come up to be a good one. So the first thing that happened with TF, guys, my man went from seeing 8 cards, I've seen you draw 8 cards, to I've seen you draw 9 cards, right? So in reality, this doesn't seem like it's that huge because of the huge drop potential that is in the TF decks. But this is only one part of them trying to like change up what's wrong with this deck which is the TF level up, right? It's only 1 plus card. It isn't really that much, but it does matter the more we start reading. Not a big nerf, to be honest, for TF. This is not too bad in my opinion. But now when we go down here, we go to Fiora's stats. She goes from a 3-3 to a 3-2 chat. James, your prayers have been answered, guys. This is like actually immense. Like being at 2 health means you're at Mystic Shot range. Even if you have protection, like you have like it's really difficult to even get your level up going, right? Because and your open attack when you drop on turn 3, you basically either need to protect her or you need to basically kill a unit that has one attack. Even then, it's kind of like saucy because you're going to be having 1 HP on Fiora right after that attack, right? So it's kind of difficult to even get her level up going unless you have protection. So I do like that now it's just very protection reliant. That's the only way to really, you know, play her. And it's just difficult now because if you, like it's dependencies, right? You need Fiora, you need her like barriers, you need her riposte, you need something like sharp sight just to be able to swing with her for this win condition. I see more people just playing her more of like just a general 3-drop, but like even then it's still not that good. Like 3 mana 3/2, like it's actually just like a worse, like the Proto J is probably even better here, dude. Like Mono Fiora maybe might be in a might not be too smacked actually. I'm gonna recount that. And yeah, now she could be Avalanche Smith though, but I guess if you have protection on Fiora, like it doesn't really matter too much. Like with the Mono Fiora shenanigans, like I just thought about that, right? The logic was that the likelihood you get barriers and riposte and sharp sights for Fiora when you need her for Fiora Shen is a lot less than in Mono Fiora. So it's like I could see why if you have a lot of buffs for just Fiora, it might actually not be too bad, right? So that was the argument that, but at least it stops the Fiora Shen from actually being able to, you know, play on her win condition constantly and having that like accessibility of playing very mid-rangey or like very just like Fiora dominating. Not really gonna see much differences with J4. We've tried putting him in different decks. I just don't think he's been really as viable as other like champions per se, like someone like a Garen or something who's just a bit better in my opinion, because it provides more like of a better level up condition, and just provides I guess just a better consistency overall in your deck rather than just like a unit like J4. But I mean, you might see it played, right? Like, sure, stats got a bit better, but I don't really see much of an else of a difference. I think that's the play, right? If you're giving her Fury, you want to have like you want her to be a bigger unit for the most part. So I think you got to somehow like give her like challenger and trade with units or whatnot. Like, there's more to her kit than just this, right? Than adding Fury to her. Like, I guess you just have to go with like a way of buffing her, maybe giving her buffs so she can make good trades and get value out of that Fury. So I don't know. Would you ever try running like in Shurima, you know how they're running Lucky Charms or whatever, Lucky Finds? You guys know what I'm talking about. Is it Lucky Finds? Or in my opinion, this Screeching Dragon is only really good because it trades on units and also feasts on them and gets bigger and bigger. That's why Screeching Dragon is huge. Even without the Fury, it's still fine, right? But like for the most part, it's an annoying card because it can deal with a lot of it's just really good at being a good cleanup janitor crew member, as well as being able to trade effectively and getting decent stats and eventually trading into bigger units. Like the fact that Siobhan doesn't have that is kind of like, in my opinion, bad. So if we could, again, that's why I was talking about Lucky Charms. I'm gonna call it Lucky Charms, guys. Fuck it. Like maybe you could probably set up something with Shurima. But then again, you'd rather just do this with like Renekton. Like I just think Renekton is just a more solid 4-drop than this Shyvana. Anyways, Lulu going to the 3-mana 3/3. Okay, this doesn't fix the actual initial issue of the fact that when you strike with a unit like Lulu, like for the most part, so how support works, right? You need to strike with this in order to get the value that it's providing, and it's obviously a temporary like thing. Putting her at 3-mana 3/3 actually makes it so you can actually maybe swing with her a little bit more, because now you can actually trade into a unit, but it's not really like protecting her in any way, right? It's not like she's gonna live after the swing, maybe. Like still 3-mana 3/3 is like, she, for the most part, she's gonna die, but I think it does make it so that you could at least play her, right? With at least you get value off of supporting a unit and also getting Lulu killed, maybe. I mean, it's not that crazy of a, I don't think it's like that crazy good. I was thinking, dude, even make her a fucking 3/4, dude. Like fuck it, 3-mana 3/4. Like, we need this chick to be, like, living, bro. That's my huge issue with her. Like, I don't think if she was a 2/4, it would be that great, personally. Riven is a 3-mana 3/4. She creates a reforge every time you have the attack token. Why can't Lulu have something like a 3-mana 3/4? And I understand that every single swing you do, you get this extra 4/4, like, buff on your opponent, on your like, unit temporarily, but still, like, I still think it's justifiable. I don't know. Lulu buffs Flame Chomper? Alright, Liberty's talking facts now, dude. Yeah, I actually kind of like that then. If that's what we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could throw into Jinx, right? Potentially. That's actually fucking unique as hell. Into Flame Chompers? Wait, that's actually interesting. Think about it now. It's basically going from 3 cards that you get in your next start round to basically draw 2 at the next start round, right? This one, you basically just filter 1 card back and you draw 2. It's not that bad as like an option of like maybe looking through your deck a little bit. I remember when Feint came up with his deck of like his Noxus like build with Fizz and all that shiz. He basically used pick a card to just kind of look for like, I guess, options of like just cycling through your deck and looking for a way to, you know, find lethal in some way. And the fact that you're able to use this, I guess, as a way to just cycle through your deck, like I think people are gonna like for 2 mana, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Drawing 2 extra, you know, fleeting cards that could potentially pose like some sort of lethal, it might be used. I could see discard, like not discard aggro, like I could see aggro coming back, but like aggro is obviously gonna be coming back with this patch. We're gonna cover up the whole tier system after this, but I do think that aggro in terms of like, you know, maybe with Fizz coming back is a thing. It's not gonna be the whole TF like synergy that we've been seeing lately. It's gonna be more of like, I mean, like Fizz just with aggressiveness with pick a card. Like you don't even have to run TF in there, right? Wiggly Burblefish, guys. What everyone loved about TF, right? And then now this is a direct nerf to the TF, I guess, Burblefish deck with Fizz. Burblefishes went from 3/1 to 2/1, which is huge, right? It's stalling you. It's stalling you from dying, right? The whole point is it's slowing this deck down immensely. And this is good. Like every use case that they could have thought of how you can win with this deck has been basically slowed down. And I like that. I'm so happy for it. Like Burblefish, will you still see some degenerate like Burblefishes coming down? Yeah, you will. But is it going to be as toxic as it was with just killing you on, like, bro, I recently posted like a post on my Twitter about someone basically doing this shit to me. Like, bruh, like this shouldn't be a thing. Like, imagine there were 2/1s. Like this damage would be mitigated a bit less and it would be slower, meaning more other decks might have a chance of coming back from this. As you can see, he was at 4 health. So I was almost at lethal, right? Dredgers has gone back to a 2/1. Pog. So, I mean, it's kind of like a buff on deep. Like, for the most part, it's going to be awkward for, like, aggro decks to swing into Dredgers. Dreadway going from a 9/8. So, as you guys know, we had Timeline's Kindred that was a deck. This is no longer going to be... I mean... I don't know if like, I think TL's Timeline Kindred is kind of is done, actually. So yeah, what I think is going to happen is we're going to see more decks that are going to be running PNZ with Froliard. Like, you know how Trundle had basically that very like deck that could heal a lot, right? They would copy their Tavern Keepers, they would copy the pillars. Like I could see the new timelines being played with just the pillar, right? Getting into Dreadway. And basically, you could even get this as an 8-drop now, which is Pog on the pillar. I think playing that version of the deck is gonna do really well against like hard aggro, and then you're just gonna have this like late game potential of even drawing into a Dreadway, which is Poggers in my opinion. Shadow Assassin, 3 mana, 2/1. So we're bringing her back up, guys. The beautiful Shadow Assassin. I mean, is it worth, like, it's not that bad running her as bad, right? 3 mana, 2/1. Sure, she still dies to Whale and Vile Feast and stuff. Yeah, Encroaching Shadows and stuff. But I mean, like, I could see her maybe running in the Encroaching Shadows kit. Her as just a general 3 mana, 2/1. It's kind of annoying because, like, they're gonna have to clear her. She's just an elusive that's gonna constantly be bonking 2 damage. I mean, it's good, and you're drawing 1. I don't think it's too bad, right? Wait, mistake me if I'm wrong, guys. Wasn't Shadow Assassin a 2 mana 2/2 before, or am I bugging, dude? Was she always a 2/1? I thought she was like a 2/2. She was a 2/2, right? That's what made her like bonkers. 2/2, yeah. Okay, just making sure, guys. Yeah, and like I think this is a healthy spot. Kind of sucks she's 1, but like at least you have counterplay to her. You can Vile Feast her, you can Whale her, you can do a few things to her. You can fucking Katarina Blades Edge her. Like you can do a few things with this. Like I'm kind of happy about this. So basically he goes from a 4 mana 3/4 to a 3/3. Oh, I'm sorry, a 3/3 to a 3/4. This is doing jack shit. I don't know what the fuck this is about. Like what? Like it's a better body, but like over what, dude? Maybe making him a 4 mana 3/5, but that would be kind of bonkers. But again, like no, I don't really see anything too important with this at 1 extra health. Rear guard's going from a 3/1 to a 3/2 pog. So we're reverting him back, guys. He's back to a 1 mana 3/2. Rear guard, will he see play? I think he will, actually. Last time I remember, everyone was playing rear. Everyone and their mothers was playing rear guard. It's pretty good. Aggro's back again. Yeah, with this, I think they were trying to push for more aggro lines. Yeah, so aggro's definitely gonna have another aggressive card, especially Noxus, which is why I was thinking maybe like Fizz is coming back with Noxus, but with you could even include rearguard with pick a card. Like I could see a deck like that making way. But yeah, this is just a general good aggro card. We have Sea Scarab. When another ally dies or last breath. So Scarab went from a 2 mana 1/2 to 2 mana 2/3. This is actually pretty huge for deep, bro. This is immense. Imagine going deep, and he goes deep as well. It's not like he doesn't ever go deep. Like I think someone in the chat mentioned it. The fact that he's able to have a better body means he's gonna live longer. You can actually trade him probably in a few instances, and he's gonna be a huge unit. He's gonna be what, like 5 mana, 2 mana 5, 2 mana 5/6, right? Deep wasn't not in a bad spot to begin with. They're just buffing that deck up. All right, let's keep moving. Esteemed Aerophant. When I'm summoned, advance your Sundus 2 rounds. When I'm summoned, advance your Sundus 3 rounds. I don't think anyone's even gonna consider playing this still. Like, I still think the better way of playing it is like Morbus's list with the whole like leveling up condition. Callous Bonesaw Crusher. 4 mana 6/4. Reputation at cost 2. So he went from a 6/3 to a 6/4. That's pretty good. Actually playable, right? Actually playable. He's not a bad 4-drop. Like, not bad at all, dude. It's a good stat line, but like, what do you? It can get blocked easily. That's the only problem with Ballast Bone Crusher. Like, I think this plays for basically going for that synergy of reputation, right? And it's definitely something to consider playing. If the meta is going more so for, I guess, late game, I think this will be fine because you get the reputation for 2 mana. All right, and then Aphelios, bye-bye to my boy, Emo Kid. He's done, chat. He's gone. Calibra, Severum, Gravitum. This is all 3, dude. We're slapping the shit out of Tribeam here, chat. Tribeam. If it ain't Tribeam, bro, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Nah, I mean, I'm just memeing, guys. It's probably, wait, where's my Tribeam? I don't think Tribeam is gonna be like that relevant, like in this deck. Like, this is too fucking slow. Like, it's relevant only if the meta is super slow. So I agree with that. But like with Ezreal, right? Philos Ezreal, I could see it being. We played it a while back. I just don't think it's gonna. It's just too slow where the meta's pushing, dude. Like, this seems like it's not gonna generate value in time, and you're just gonna die. All right, now Gishram Beyond is going from a 2 cost to 1 because they wanna basically, it doesn't give you the moon weapons freely like Aphelios. I mean, maybe you'll see some play in Lee Sin decks. I doubt it, but like maybe. Maybe Zoe Karma decks, right? That is true, Hawk. Gravitum for 3 mana is still worth it. Yeah, I mean, is it? Is it though? Noxus has stuns, right? Oh, because it's 2 turns, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Yeah, it's like, so we have this that basically on 3 mana you can stun one for a turn. The other one is 2 turns. All right, I could see your argument there. It's not the worst. Veil Temple is gone, guys. The boy has finally gone from 1+1/+1 each round to +1 attack and 0 health. Huge. They literally did the same thing they did to the landmark in Demacia. +1 attack isn't too bad for you. You know what I mean? Especially if your units are elusive, maybe going for like an elusive like wave with failed. And you know, just smorking your opponent. I could see it being useful. That, you know, you could develop pretty quickly with this on turn 5, turn 6 with a lot of the options that Targon provides. I don't think it's a dead card by any means, but it's definitely got a huge treatment nerf on it. And it's pretty bad because aggro is coming back, so it's like I don't think this is gonna really help you in any way. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a labs gamer. I'll try my best to start learning it, but I don't know if this is a good thing. It looks good. They're actually focusing on it, so yes. Okay, so on first glimpse when I saw this, dude, I didn't really like it. Like, it's kind of like bougie as fuck. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. This is sweet. Or 9 out of 10, dude. I like this. This Earth little guy is really good. Guardian's Pog. I don't know if you guys like the Guardian. Born 8 in an automatic cop. I agree. The Guardian's pretty good though. And even the emote, dude, this is Pog. The card back is ridiculous. I like the card back. It's really cute. Looks awesome. Big D energy. You already know it, boys. I like the Gohi likes the board. I like the card back and I like the emote. The emote is fucking sick, dude. Man, it's actually like, it's actually sick. Yeah, and then another thing to add before we finish this up. Biggest one out of this is I think the Katarina, Victor, and Draven had their play effects updated to summon effects to be consistent with other cards with similar effects. So basically, if you do like, for example, I guess a Rekindler, Draven will get an X on your hand. Victor will get one of his spells, that 1 mana spell, and Katarina will get her Blade's Edge, right? So Brother Warface, good day to you. Brother Simp, good day to you. So if you've gotten the like, this is interesting because it's supposed to be like a bug fix, but like people have been saying you might want to run Harrowing in here or something, and you'll get like Katarina's extra like play effect. It's actually interesting. I think there's something to be brewed up with Katarina. I think like it makes her kind of a bit better, kind of like with the Jinx discard aggro where it was like a direct buff. I think it could call for some situations, but again, the problem here is you have to level her up first, and then you have to Harrowing. So I mean, I don't know what other lines people are gonna try taking. I guess you could do this, right? You could do SI. Like SI is the only one I'm really seeing like some weird shit you could do. Like, right, you could basically kill her, Chronicle of Ruin, but then again, you would just swing with her. I don't know why you would kill her. All right, so quickly, let me just cover the meta now. This is the list I came up with, and I'll explain why I put everything the way I did. So what I was thinking in tier 0. The fact that, so let me write down what got nerfed. So what got nerfed? So Zoe, TF Aphelios, Zoe, anything with Aphelios, and then yeah, this is fine. These are the big ones, right? And then Fiora, just Fiora. So these were like the biggest like things that in my eyes got nerfed, right? TF Aphelios. Oh wait, did I miss one? TF Fizz. How am I bad, dude? So TF Fizz got nerfed. The fact that TF Fizz got nerfed out here means that Zoe Lee is going to be coming up, right? Zoe Lee Sin literally was not seeing play because TF Fizz just hard wins that matchup. The issue with Zoe Lee is they can't clear units too well. The only way they can do it is with Lee Sin pulling a unit and killing it. And it was too slow for TF Fizz, it was too slow for TF Fizz because TF Fizz leveled it in 1 turn. So I mean now that like maybe people are still going to play TF Fizz, Zoe Lee might actually be able to pull TF and kill him before they get that crazy win condition. So I mean, now this is like, it's not so much of a good counter to this deck anymore. So Zoe Lee's gonna come back. This was what Zoe Lee was scared of. We see Lysandra Trundle is gonna, obviously, it's either gonna be the PNZ version or SI version. So I'll cover more about the PNZ version in a bit, but like SI is definitely Lysandra, right? Like everyone's playing the Lysandra Trundle combo with the Watcher. This is Watcher OTK basically. You guys know Watcher is super strong. It's definitely, you know, really reliable in the meta, and it does really well. Like it was kind of getting stunned by like some Aphelios decks, but and like it does really well, I think, in the meta. So I think this is gonna come up. Is that tier 1 up to date? This tier 1, dude? So hold on, wait. Yeah, Nick makes plays, dude. I didn't. I was thinking if it is. I'm still going over tier 0, but I didn't know if it was tier 0 and tier 1. Yeah, it's tier 0 and tier 1. There is no tier 0 Dexter's format. You don't think so? I think tier 0 is going to be, I don't know, at least for me, I think tier 0 is going to be like very, I'm hoping that what the right developers were talking about, it's going to be very diverse. I think we're going to see a lot of diversity in tier 0 per se. I mean, maybe if you want to say tier 0, oh, it means they lose no matchups. Okay, so if we're gonna go under the assumption that tier 0 means they lose no matchups, then yeah, then alright, then fuck it. Move everything to tier 1. Because what I was gonna say is tier 0 is literally, there's gonna be a lot of different, like, what counters what does well against what, and I think there's gonna be a lot of multiple diversity that's gonna be happening. That's at least my assumption. So I mean, then we can move it down to tier 1, I think, everything, because for the most part, you know, Zoe Lee is gonna have interesting matchups with, like, Ashe midrange. Lysandra Trundle is gonna obviously have, like, weird scuffy matchups against things like Ashe midrange as well, or Azir Lucian, right? If Azir Lucian can develop quick enough and they have range of resolve, it depends how you're teching it. They don't die to avalanches. You know, like, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of aggro that's gonna be spawning up. As you guys know, I've been playing a lot of spiders recently. The only really counterplay to that was actually TF Aphelios. And you know, they had too many healing and stuff. And the fact that Aphelios is gone from this means aggro is gonna be smorking in town, dude. I really like it. We've had like 3 tier 0 decks in history. I think Zoe Karma is tier 1 for sure, Shinobi. Tippy Scuff Streamer, Nightfall aggro missing. Oh, dude, I don't know much about Nightfall. I didn't actually include it in here because I don't know too much. So we'll think about that. But I do think what's gonna end up happening is, like, since TF Aphelios is out of the way, now that basically means all aggro is coming back. So we're gonna see Azir Lucian coming up. We're gonna see Pirate Burn, Spider aggro being a thing. Of course, like, this is always prevalent. Pirate Burn was actually bonking on Zoe Lee Sin. It depends on, like, what cards you're teching into your build, and if you get your Eye of the Dragon, you get your Sparkle Flies into Mentors. But I could see, like, these aggro decks making a spawn up because they've been pretty consistent, hard, and really losing to TF Aphelios a bunch. So I mean, this is about to just be great. We're gonna see mid-range decks coming up again. Ashe mid-range. I was thinking about Overwhelm decks, like, per se. Like, Overwhelm isn't bad, but I think it's a worse version of Ashe midrange with LeBlanc. So I think Overwhelm is still gonna... So if you want, like, based off of what Nick was saying, right? Let's move everything up, all right? So let's do this. If that's what Nick is saying, that tier 0 basically means it doesn't lose his shit, then I think we're gonna have a pretty consistent, like, meta going like that. Tier 1 and tier 2. TF is probably still tier 1, TBH. You think so? Definitely in high elo, it's gonna be tier 1. I guess if we're gonna move TF Fizz, I don't know, man. I think it's gonna I think it's gonna hover in here, dude. Give this, like, a gray area, dude, of, like, just kind of... I think it's gonna be in here. I don't know, like, usually when they nerf stuff, like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I just feel like it doesn't see too much play as much as possible. Like, Go Hard, right, had a nerf, and it was still kind of decently viable, but I mean, that's a different story now that the meta has changed. But, like, you might have this gray area of, like, I don't know, Wonderland, right, like, that they might be floating in. It really depends on what, I think, elo we're talking about, that these decks are going to be worth playing. I don't know about this one, though. Aphelios is kind of gone. But, like, yeah, I can see this deck. Like, I feel like this deck is going to transform into a TF, like, Draven deck. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're going to make it more of an aggro line instead of just, like, with Fizz, with TF. I think it's just going to be, like, more of a Fizz aggro with, like, Noxus. And then this will push it up to be maybe more consistent tier 1. Okay, but isn't Azir Lucian beat Zoe Lee Sin most of the time? So that's the thing. Like, what I'm saying is there's a lot of different rotations that are happening up in this tier 1 list, right? Like it just depends on what you're getting, right? And if you're playing the correct matchup with Zoe Lee Sin, if you're risking an aggro deck, you look for Eye of the Dragons and stuff, right? Like, what I like about this is that you're gonna have aggro, mid-range, and control. And as you were saying, even Nightfall might be coming back in. Like, there's so much diversity that I think is gonna be coming back up, that literally these decks were legitimately, like, TF Aphelios was just actually just bonking on, so it was feeding off of so many decks that were, for the most part, pretty healthy. And the fact that you got some of this toxicity out of the way is making it so that we have some comebacks. I added Scouts in tier 1 here, like, because I do think they're gonna run it with Stony Suppressor. Stony Suppressor will be kind of cute as well. It's kind of a little nice tech against some decks with, like, Zoe Lee versus Lysandra Trundle. So I mean, there's gonna be a lot of rotations, and I think these are the big decks that are gonna be heavy. We're gonna heavy see in tier 1. And then tier 2, I wanted to put Overwhelm again, but I thought it was a worse version of Ashe midrange with LeBlanc. It's kind of cool and all, so maybe it'll float in Wonderland as well. This was kind of just, like, my own little thought. Discard aggro not a tier 0 deck, aggro deck anymore. So I think discard aggro, like, I think every aggro deck is gonna fall in here. Like, you could put discard aggro, you could put, like, there's gonna be different variants. But I do think that Spider aggro, for the, like, in my personal opinion, Spider aggro is gonna be, like, the better one in my opinion, because and Pirate Burn. because obviously, you know, they have skitterers and you can stop a lot of like what Zoe Lee's gonna do. Like Zoe Lee's gonna be super prevalent. And you know, Avalanche exists. Pirate Burn is good because it plays around like the whole Avalanche versus Lysandra Trundle. But again, it's different spreads, right? You see where you're like Spider Aggro is better against Zoe Lee Sin, while Pirate Burn is better against like Lysandra Trundle. Like, it's really just matchups, dude. Understanding the matchups, and that's why I think it's gonna be a very rotated meta of just different decks and just like understanding what matchup you're getting yourself into. Also, I put Zoe Diana in here because I know Targon didn't actually get nerfed in any way. Like star shaping and all that still exists, so I do think there might be potential with Zoe with a splash of SI. Ooh, not a Spanish, a splash of SI. So I mean, I'm not sure how good the kit was before. It was decent. So I'm not sure. This is kind of like, I should highlight that. Still kind of weird, but I gotta think about it. Where's your favorite deck, War Mothers? Bruh. Stuff Make Happy got 2-1 in the C Scrap. Also got a nice buff. So the reason I have Maokai Deep in tier 2 here, guys, I don't like how consistent Treasures is. Like, it's definitely a good deck that got buffed, personally. It got super buffed based off of the fact that it was already performing at a good tier 2 level, which is why, like, it was actually like a tier 2 tier. Like, yeah, it was like a good tier 2 level. It was definitely low tier 2. Now it's like higher tier 2. But I don't like that Treasure card. The fact that it's so RNG heavy just makes me not want to play. Let me see if I can find it. The fact that Lost Riches is not consistent just makes me like really doubt. Like, I feel like it's in Wonderland again. Like, I feel like you can move some of these in Wonderland. And for example, Maokai will do good against things like decks like if you build it right. There's different ways of building it. Heavy control, or you could do just heavy like tossing, or you could go in the middleware of like just both, right? So it's like, it's not the worst thing, right? If you're versing heavy aggro here, you might be able to like bonk people and be really well. If you're versing scouts, I mean, it might be a bit difficult. Just kind of if they have Sony Suppressor, but you do have a lot of good blockers now. Like for the most part, it might perform all right, and tier 2 decks for the most part will be able to survive, right? Like into tier 1 matchups. But I think like for the most part, I don't think it's tier 1 though, because I see inconsistencies. For me, tier 2 is when there's an inconsistency happening. Straight up. Like, if something like this has to fall into heavy RNG, where I need to rely on Lost Riches, I don't think it's like a worthwhile deck to even invest in, like, for a tier 1. LeBlanc Sivir is not a bad deck. My issue with LeBlanc Sivir is that it does have a lot of, like, it's a bit on the slower side. With aggro coming up, I think this deck is going to be way too slow to even get on the board. The whole point of LeBlanc Sivir is you want to develop as many of your, you know, units as possible with LeBlanc and your 5 attack units and stuff. And the whole point is you control the board with your spells, right? You control your I actually don't even remember the name, but it's like a 4 cost. You control the board with either Culling Strike. You control the board with things like, where's that? It's not Bloody Business. And that's just way too slow if you're going to face like an all-in aggro deck. Well, whoops, that's not aggro. All-in aggro deck. And you're just going to end up losing by that turn, to be honest. So, I don't think that's going to be relevant, right? It's definitely a good tier 2 deck, and I personally just think that Ashe mid-range just is a lot better against, like, aggro. This is why it's considered tier 1. It could rotate in that matchup. It has a bit better shot at surviving. You can get Tavern Keeper. You could even tech in someone like the 3-mana 3/3 healer, right? Like, that's super good as a good tech against aggro. Like, I feel like it's all going to come down to the techs that people are going to be putting in the ladder. So, I think I'm very hyped for the ladder climb. It's going to be interesting seeing what other people are going to be throwing in. And I do see a diverse meta happening. But a lot of it has to do with the Tri-Beam that you're looking for, right? The Tri-Beam play is a huge tempo swing that you want to look like for that specific deck. That's what makes Ezreal Draven an actual crazy deck, is the tempo that you're able to generate. And my issue with that is, like, you really don't know what you're going to be versing in this ladder. So it's going to be so, like, dynamic that, like, you might end up versing a deck that doesn't really develop units like Lysandra Trundle and just can kill you with that win condition, that Watcher win condition. You might be versing something that's very, I guess, I wonder how it does against a Zerlution. I think you'd be in a good spot, actually. But you'd be versing something like Zoe Lee that, like, for the most part, they just have to OTK you, one-shot kill you. And then, again, it all comes down to text, right? If you're playing, like, Noxian Guillotine, if you're running Scorched Earths to kill the Lee Sin Zoe. So, I mean, you might be able to move Ezreal Draven up, maybe even to this Wonderland. It's not the worst thing in the world. And then Hecarim Shrima, Kindred, I don't know what the hell this is. Hecarim Shrima. I think this is just like kind of, these are just kind of like interesting. You might see them, but they're not like, they don't do really well into a lot of like rotations. I think for the most part, they're just, you know, they're just kind of decent decks. And then Kindred Timelines, obviously, is kind of, isn't this like dead now? Might delete that. But yeah, that's literally what I think is gonna happen. And then yeah, Philios is not gonna be seen really. Fiora, Model Fiora might make a comeback. What about Fiora Shen? Fiora Shen is kind of, I think it's not that bad, but like you can't go all in on the mid range like kind of vibe that it's used to with just like trading correctly. Well, I mean that's the way you have to play it. My bad. You have to play it that way, but you can't go in on the all-in Fiora mechanism anymore. So you can't actually farm these aggro decks as much. So the fact that aggro is going to be prevalent, as we saw, aggro, like these really cheap units are going to be able to trade into Fiora before you can maybe even get her level up condition. So I mean, like you have to play Fiora Shen more of like a, just I guess on curve deck instead. So I mean, maybe it might be enough. I guess maybe I feel like it falls into tier 2 potentially, or even Wonderland. You know, Fiora Shen doesn't seem that out of the way. It doesn't, like, Lysandra Trundle kind of doesn't do anything. Like, it was good against FTR because of the denies, but the fact that you don't rely on that stuff anymore here. Ashe mid-range, it's probably just a worse mid-range, potentially, as well. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's, like, close, like, you know, close tier 2, tier 1. It's, like, in the middle ground there. But, again, I'm not saying these decks are not going to be played, but these ones are probably just better because they rotate better. But yeah, that's what I think the meta is going to look like, guys.